I realize at this point I stand between you, a couple quick awards, and lunch. And they're delicious box lunches, so I'm going to talk fast. Thank you for having me once again. Thank you to the MEREDA board and everybody who worked so hard to put this conference together, and all the sponsors. Dingo. Okay, there we go. Presentation overview, same format. What happened in 2015, what's going to happen in 2016, and looking out even further, 25-year predictions. 2015 review. The Bangor region. How many of you have been to Bangor in the last 24 months? Raise your hand. That's pretty good. Okay, I spoke here 24 months ago. At the time, some of you may remember, I was hugely pregnant, so I don't remember everything that happened. I was a little distracted. However, I think the number of hands might have been a little less of all the people who have been in Bangor at that point in time. So I'm pleased to see that we continue to grow in terms of bringing people from the south to come north. I know sometimes people think the highway is one way, but it's not. You can come north. There's lots of good reasons to. Our economy continues, as most would expect, to steadily increase. It's very modest. We do not experience the big booms, the red hot markets, the super, super hot deals and trends that some of you guys are seeing in southern Maine. It's awesome. I would love to have the industrial problem that Justin talked about this morning. We're just not there. We are steadily increasing. We are steadily growing, small, sustainable deals, significant large transactions we'll talk about, but most of our growth is incremental. It's just the way our market works. We do have higher employment levels, which for us is enormously important, considering that we had some very large regional job losses. It is very difficult to go a week in northern Maine without hearing about another manufacturing facility, paper mill, some sort of industry being impacted negatively. The job losses, both direct and indirect, are substantial. The fact that the Bangor market's unemployment rate is 4% in November 2015, which is the lowest since March of 2002, is incredible, considering there have been, just the numbers we know of, at least 1,500 job losses just in the greater Bangor region from paper mills, large industrial users, and affected suppliers. The fact that we've been able to absorb a lot of that employment into the Bangor region and other occupations. Some of those people are having to switch careers. Not a great thing to do when you're 55 and have worked in the same place your whole life, but we're making it work, slow and steady. Housing prices are showing stabilization and a slight uptick, and lease rates for commercial are still low enough that new construction is still fairly rare. Downtown development. We're going to talk about a couple significant downtown development projects which were completed in 2015, very notable. I'm going to show you some pictures. You're going to find it hard to believe that they're happening in Bangor, Maine. We're going to continue to see growth in restaurant and retail downtown. And 28 Broad Street. When I was here 2 years ago, I talked about this being one of the opportunities that we really saw as a hot opportunity for the next couple of years. It was purchased not long after I spoke. It was renovated by a local developer. It's now been turned into market rate, beautiful market rate apartments. This has been a really amazing project. The Dakin building was vacant for 25 years, 20 plus years. It is incredible to drive by there at night and see lights on again. 2527 Broad Street, same story. Another building that had been vacant for many, many years, had been intended to be reused by the Bangor Museum and Center for History. That project didn't work out. It was purchased by a local developer who got his start in downtown Bangor with one small project, got really excited about doing downtown rehab projects, bought another building. Look at the old vault in there. This is the before pictures. This is the after. Doesn't this look like Portland, kind of? Just saying. But if you showed me these pictures 10 years ago, I would not have thought that this was going to happen in one of those buildings in downtown Bangor. It's really incredible. These are the residential units upstairs. These are going for prices that I could not have imagined we would be able to sustain in downtown Bangor. The interest in residential properties in downtown Bangor is incredible. It really is. Main Street, the entertainment corridor. Darling's Waterfront Pavilion continues to be a huge draw in terms of interest and visibility for the city of Bangor. People come to Bangor because they come for a concert. There aren't a lot of places in Maine where you can see Fish outdoors on a river, or Dave Matthews Band, or some of the other great acts that have come to the pavilion. Last year we had 11 shows. There were 110,000 people there. People come to Bangor, they stay, they eat, they shop, and they want to come back because it's a great little city. So this continues to be a great economic driver. The restaurant business, the hotel business, I mean, they cannot say enough about what happens on concert nights. If you plan on coming to a concert on 2016 in Bangor, book your hotel now, and I'm not exaggerating. The Cross Insurance Center, just down the street on Main Street, which is owned by the city of Bangor, operated by Spectra. Last year, 2015, they hosted 283 events and welcomed 190,000 attendees. Huge numbers for a small city of 33,000 people. That's driving a lot of change on Main Street and some of the adjacent neighborhoods. Coincidentally or not, right next door, Ocean Properties built a brand new residence inn. This was completed in 2015 and opened in September. That is a beautiful facility, brand new rooms, hotel space right next to the Cross Insurance Center. So when there are conventions and things that are interested in coming to the Cross Insurance Center, they can have an adjacent hotel property. There's also a casino and a huge hotel across the street and another small hotel across the street. So we're finally developing out some of that infrastructure to support some of these large entertainment assets. Retail. I did not go through and do a list of all the deals and all the openings, and I couldn't keep up with that sort of stuff. Some of the notable ones that happened in Bangor this year: BJ's opened. That was a big old Home Depot. That was a great reuse of that space. Chipotle Vitamin Shop, Sport Clips. Elevation Burger is in the process of fitting out a space in Bangor on Stillwater Avenue, and Bangor Federal Credit Union is building a new branch as well. So a couple new construction projects, but really mostly what we're seeing is existing spaces and conversions. Office. Eastern Maine Community College purchased what was formerly the Main Jump, which was a kids' bounce house sort of facility. It didn't work out. They bought a great building on Hogan Road, and they converted that into a new home for their criminal justice, fire science, and emergency medicine programs. The Yellow Bean Call Center facility, 30,000 square feet. We'll hear more about that in the next few weeks. EMMC is finishing the first phase of their new construction of a tower. It's a $287 million project, 7 stories, 360,000 square feet of new medical office and operating room, new NICU, new heart suite, an incredible asset. Bangor continues to be a huge destination for medical care for the northern 2/3 of the state. This continues to drive a lot of medical office and medical space build out. The PCHC, St. Joe's, other healthcare providers in the region also seeing expansion projects as well. Industrial. I wish we had more big projects. A lot of what we've seen in industrial is small. The one notable big one that you just heard about in the last 48 hours is CNL Aerospace, CNL Aviation. They expanded over the last couple of years in Bangor, going from 20 employees up to about 150. They've announced that they intend to take over a 4th hangar at Bangor International Airport, creating another segment of business there and adding more jobs. So that is a great match. When you talk about asset-based economic development, that is a great fit for the city of Bangor for what we do well and what we can do on our airport, and that property continues to be a driver of economic activity. Regional projects of note. So the BDN printing facility in Hamden, they moved their printing operations, I believe, to Lewiston. I'm looking at Bev. Lewiston, correct. That printing building was a pretty big building. That was actually sold to Good Shepherd Food Bank, which is a tremendous reuse of that facility. We're very happy to see that happen, to help Good Shepherd provide food to all of the state of Maine, really, through their distribution network. We are also seeing beer, and I'm really glad that that was mentioned once this morning, because it doesn't make me sound like I'm waiting for cocktail hour. Gagan's, Gagan Brothers Brewing, Orono Brewing Company, lots of small brewery projects popping up. There's another one being built right now in Brewer on the waterfront. We're really seeing interest in the beer segment as well. I think Maine just has a great niche. Portland certainly has done extremely well in that and putting Maine on the map in terms of a beer drinking place and a place for brewers. So we're seeing more interest there. We also have this great downtown shop, Central Street Farmhouse, which has created an entire sort of SWAT team of home brewers who are then going on to commercialize their activity, which is fantastic. So we're seeing lots of great spin-offs from the beer market. The marketing in Gagan's, too, is really amazing. They've done a great job of sort of tying their beers and their types of beers into the Bangor brand, which we think is fantastic. Tiller and Rye opened in Brewer, right across the Chamberlain Bridge on the Bangor waterfront. That is a great local, natural, organic grocery store. People in Bangor, I swear to God, I can't go anywhere without somebody saying, can we have a Trader Joe's? Can we have a Trader Joe's? Okay, we have Tiller and Rye. It's a local option to Trader Joe's, even better. Trends in 2015. We continue to struggle with large industrial spaces as supply and demand really for the smaller flex spaces. I don't think that's unusual. That's something that we continue to struggle with. We're seeing some of those being fit out into smaller spaces, but developers are still a little wary of cutting up their big valuable spaces into the smaller spaces and making the investment. Medical continues to be a mainstay of growth. Downtown rehab, hot residential market. New residential construction for the first time in the city of Bangor. We're seeing some interest in, there were a couple of subdivisions that had intended to do an additional phase. They'd put them on hold over the last several years. Things are starting to pick back up again with residential new construction, which is great news. Important trends for 2016. Urban mixed use and medical office, still very smart bets in this market. Infill development and in-town housing. For many, many years, people were pushed out and they wanted to live in the suburbs, put their kids in those schools, live out in the country, have a couple of acres. We are seeing more and more people that want to live right in downtown Brewer, right in downtown Bangor. They want to be able to walk to shopping and services. The market is really heading in that direction and renovating some of those underutilized or unutilized spaces into that residential stock. And so that's a great reuse of some of those upper floor spaces that we haven't had used in a while. I think Number 3, we talked about the mismatch, rural job losses. For me, this is the one that keeps me up at night. We have a really important job to do as a service center in northern and eastern Maine to continue to push for finding new opportunities and gaining employment and investment in the Bangor region to keep people employed. Northern and eastern Maine is really struggling. It's important that we continue to keep our eye on the ball and looking at where we can find those economic development projects, those opportunities where we can really make a difference and provide jobs for people who are really struggling in some of our outlying areas. And downtown urban office versus suburban office. This is a little newer, but we're seeing a lot of people who have had offices in some of the outlying areas who are now calling us and saying, you know, I'm a lot more interested in downtown Bangor. I really want to think about having my office in a place where I'm not isolated, or I can walk to get a cup of coffee. I can do all those things in downtown. So we're starting to see a lot more interest in that. 2016 opportunities. I swear to God, when I come back in 2 years, I'm not going to have 73 Central on this slide again. It was there since... It was there since the last time, I'm sorry. 73 Central, which is in the upper right-hand side, is a terrific building right in the heart of downtown Bangor. It just needs some love. It needs the right person, but it's a great opportunity, and man, it's priced to move. So if you're interested in that, please help me get this off my slide. 45 State, 187, 209 Exchange. So the bottom right is a series of buildings that are actually all interconnected. Tremendous amount of space and opportunity to essentially redevelop a city block in downtown Bangor. That's a terrific opportunity that's coming up. And 16 Central, which is the former home of the University of Maine System Office, the chancellor and many of their high-level executives. That's up on the upper floors above Epic Sports. It is a phenomenal office suite for a downtown office user. There's 30,000 square feet. It's a great, great property. We're excited that it stinks that the chancellor's office is leaving. I think they're going to miss downtown. However, they had to do what was right for them. I think there are going to be some office users that'll go in here that'll be very happy in downtown. Industrial opportunities, Gorelick Farms, a former dairy production facility, Old Town Canoe, Galt Block Warehouse, some really big industrial spaces that we just haven't figured out what to do with yet. Those large spaces are tough to move at this time. And one that I think is very interesting, which is the Emery has consolidated some of their operations into one large facility in Hamden. They now have a 5-acre parcel right on Main Street, just happens to be at the interchange of Main Street and 395, right across, basically kitty corner from the Cross Insurance Center, right down the street from Hollywood Casino. I think that's a great opportunity. It currently has a bunch of different buildings and warehouse space, but that's a 5-acre parcel right on Main Street. I think that's a really nice opportunity for the right user. 25-year predictions. So entertainment options are going to continue to expand. We're going to continue to see some of those small, medium venues, some of those hospitality things that fill out restaurant, retail, hotel. The hotel market has been red hot in Bangor. The Residence Inn, when it was constructed, was the 6th new hotel in Bangor since 2006. There were also 3 hotels sold. The Baldacci Real Estate Group sold 3 hotels. That was a $10 million transaction. We really have a ton of interest in investment in hospitality in Bangor. Growth in medical office will continue. That's not going anywhere with the aging of our population. That's not going anywhere anytime soon. The Maine Business Enterprise Park, which is a beautiful business park right out by the airport, is going to continue to see growth and interest. That's going to hit full capacity, and we're going to have to figure out where to go next. Additional hotel development on Main Street to support the casino, the Cross Insurance Center, and the mall area, and then conversion of those large industrial spaces for smaller specialty manufacturers. That is it. One final closing word. It does not happen very often that I am one of 2 female redhead presenters during the course of a panel or presentation, so I just want to mark this day in history. I hope it happens again sometime soon. Thank you, MEREDA, for having me.